Welcome back to The Watch, and the fight for Australian free speech continues. And more specifically, the attempts by the Australian Prime Minister to undermine whatever last vestiges we have of free speech in Australia. He is working very actively to undermine it even further, and he continues to spout complete bullcrap. And he takes it to a new level, if that was possible. But it's all manipulative nonsense, what he's saying here. So the Free Speech Union of Australia Twitter account, covering this closely, guys, you're doing God's work. The Prime Minister is still pushing for censorship. They're hoping that if they repeat the same BS over and over, they'll be able to talk you into giving away your rights. Don't fall for it. Most of the mainstream Australian media, they're basically just giving it a free platform. I've seen very little pushback. I've seen them platforming articles or platforming people who want to just try and spout the bullcrap that the Prime Minister is saying. They'll give the odd token interview, right? But the thing is, though, the coalition is also trying to support this stuff, right? This is why it's so concerning, because the Uniparty is now just coming out for all to see. And people who are against this are going to lose their ability. The coalition, which is the Conservative Party, right? The Liberals, the Nationals and everything, should be the ones pushing back against this the most. And they're not. They've lost my vote as a result. They're going to lose so many Conservative votes. And that, like, the people that would have been in the strongest position to stop this would have been the coalition, because they're the largest, amongst the two large parties. All right. And now they're not doing that. And so I will not support the coalition if they're not going to try and fight for free speech. And that's the result. All right. The dream, it's unlikely, but the dream is that One Nation will actually win. They'll get more support. Absolutely. Because they're the ones actually trying to oppose this.
Yeah, but you got to think about this though, Shad. Like the boomers, like the literal boomers, they don't see any of it.
I know, that's the thing. There is actually a really large block of voters in Australia that are on the older end, who all just watch the mainstream media and just get completely sucked in and drink the Kool-Aid. That's why so many Australians were able to be misled during the pandemic, okay? Because of the bullcrap. The unbelievable nonsense bullcrap that was spouted by the government and the mainstream media. And that was the primary source that a lot of Australians absorb stuff. A lot of the boomers, right? They don't go to the internet. And one of the places where you get truly unfiltered information is Twitter X at the moment. And even though I hate it, it serves a value that I always come back to and I have to give credit to. I think it's still a toxic cesspool in most cases, but it is serving an important role at the moment. So I give credit to it for that.
That's the thing though, like, especially during the pandemic, I was one of the few people who wasn't wrong about a single thing. The last time I was wrong was, I guess, QAnon. I thought the Patriots were in control. But they're never going to get me again. Hope doesn't exist, Shad. Hope doesn't exist and only the evil succeed. All right. But yeah, like, just that, it's not the ones that just watch the media as well. It's the ones who don't watch anything and they're just like, oh, I guess we're voting Liberal today.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
and so there is an unfortunately large group of uninformed voters in Australia, but they are purposefully made to be uninformed. The government here wants to gaslight people, and listen to what he says here, because the whole purpose of this is to obfuscate what's actually happening and to gaslight people. All right? And is going to use a lot of manipulative language here.
The issue of Andrew Tate is symptomatic of a problem that is a global problem that we are dealing with.
All right? So he latches on to the examples of people spouting bullcrap. And I'm not a fan of Andrew Tate. It's not to say everything he says is wrong, okay? Sometimes he actually says something right, but there is so much video evidence of him saying some really criminal stuff.
Here's the thing, Shad, and this might go into conspiracy territory, but here's the thing that I've only believed in the last couple of years. I think they literally inject people into our side of things they provide us with a straw man of us. So they're like, oh, this guy's on your side, we can attack him and attribute everything that he says to you guys. And then we're all trying to either defend or whatever about this guy and not actually anything to do with them or the issues.
The FBI have been known to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Patriot Front.
Oh yeah. Or who is that bald with the beard that was on the Tim Pool thing?
Oh,
Jack Posobiec. I think it was that.
No,
not him. Sorry, Jack.
It was I think it is a Jack someone.
Jack someone.
The liminal order. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So like this
Beard of Shame.
Yeah.
I don't think he was a player though. I think he was just an opportunist. And but still, we're getting off tracks. But
sorry. Yeah.
You see how he's latching on to some of the worst actors and not actually pointing out how much like people like Andrew Tate get called out on the internet because of free speech, right? It's because he is able to speak freely about what he says that many of the concepts he tries, because there are false bullcrap stuff, he has said some horrible things about how men should treat women in relationships, right? Because he says that those ideas get to be called out. And there's some great, I mean, like, knock out of the park, incredible videos going through in detail some of the crap Andrew Tate has done. Massive shout out to the Authentic Observer. Look her up. Maybe we can link it in the comment, right? Authentic Observer, Galatea. She has deep dives where she rips into some of the bullcrap of the Red Pill movement. All right, and just a high recommendation.
Yeah.
She is one of the few. She head screwed on the right way, Galatea. Though she liked the Barbie movie, so we got to balance it.
The Barbie movie?
She liked the Barbie movie.
I loved it. Barbie movie was great.
I hated it.
Dude, did you not see that it was actually nice?
I know that's the argument. And look, I'm saying it in jest, Galatea, okay? You make great content. The videos you made about Andrew Tate, I highly recommend people actually pay attention because I know there's a lot of people that try and support him. I'm not saying he's never said anything wrong, but it's just so interesting that the PM is trying to manipulate people. Like, look at... And then the purpose of him saying that is he is trying to say what Andrew Tate says is harmful, okay? Because Andrew Tate has said what he has said, that has enabled people like Galatea to call out the actual concepts and principles that he's been trying to appeal to, right? Which has a broader, larger, beneficial effect to not just call out his crap in his words, but also anyone sharing similar sentiments.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They're like, he's literally being like, Andrew Tate, I don't want to see the thing they're holding up to me. I want to be like, well, what are you hiding with that?
Exactly.
You know? Like...
And also, what I can't stand about this, right? He is literally believing this. The whole context of what he's trying to say is that he believes people, we're not mature enough to be able to tell for ourselves if things like what Andrew Tate says is either bullcrap or not. We don't have that discernment. We need to be protected by daddy governments who will feed us only the sentiments that they deem are right and truthful because we lack the capacity to judge for ourselves.
Yeah.
Piss off, you overbearing scumbag.
I hate these people so much. I'm glad you're starting to receive some of that hatred for them too.
Just the gall of what they, the presumption they have to try and parent me. They think we, and myself, do not have the capacity to discern for ourselves. I think a lot of what Andrew Tate says is bullcrap. I don't need the government to hide it from me because I can tell for myself.
Yeah.
Okay?
But they don't want you thinking.
But you know what the things that they probably think is too far? The fact that I said Andrew Tate has said some truthful things. How dare you? Like, no joke. I've had someone tell me a conversation they had, and it was in like a place with more progressive kind of people in a more corporate environment, when they were saying how bad Andrew Tate was, and the person in question is a friend of mine, and he's actually quite left, but is reasonable, and all he said was like, you do understand that he does say some things that are true. He's not all bad. Like I'd say mostly bad, and even he understands that it is. But he was just simply acknowledging it, and that was too far. I was like,
yeah,
you know, like pearl clutching gasps of horror.
Because they cultivate this whole, if you say anything politically not correct, like anything approaching politically incorrect, then it's...
Yeah. And so this whole video is just parent, mummy, prime minister coming in saying, I need to protect you from the truth, essentially. I'm not saying what Andrew is true, but... what about the things that he does say are true? They don't want you hearing that from Andrew Tate either. They want to control what gets fed, and they want to be the arbiters of truth.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
With content that promotes violence.
Content that promotes violence. Their definition of that was the stabbing video of the bishop, right? They think that content promotes violence. No, that deters violence because of how horrifying it is. Bishop came out, we've got a video on it, Shad saying, no, I support free speech, don't take down that video.
Yeah.
Right? And so they think you can't handle violent content. Right?
Nothing dissuades people from violence than seeing the horror of violence. Like, people watch action movies and like, yeah, I want to do that, but like...
Not Saving Private Ryan.
Not Saving Private Ryan.
You see those people try and storm the beach and you think, holy crap, why would we ever go to war again?
That's horror. That's
horror.
True horror. Or what do you call it? The other one, Hacksaw Ridge is another great one.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Fantastic movie.
One of my all-time favorite, Hacksaw Ridge. Right? Promoting violent content. We know the standard now. We've seen the videos that tried to take down because it was violent content, right? Now, I am not saying that, but this is the danger. This is danger. As soon as you give this concession, the government, they see an inch and they'll take a mile.
Yeah.
When you concede, some content needs to be regulated, like child exploitative content.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously. But that was literally the smokescreen they used to launch the E-Safety Commission.
Yeah.
They tried to say, look, we need to protect content that is about, trying to either spread content of children, also promote all those things, right? That was the tagline. And by the way, it was the coalition government that launched the E-Safety Commission. And instead, they've been censoring stuff mostly against conservative people and also about the pandemic and everything, censoring actual truthful things, right? And so that's the danger when even if you, and I will acknowledge some moderation needs to happen, then they say, yes, we will moderate everything according to our perception of what's right and wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about justice and law is so long as laws are absolute, there can be no justice. Justice is about nuance and balance. You might have laws that overflow into tyrannical or underperform as far as not actually keeping things decent, but that's the sacrifice of justice to exist is, yeah.
And the difficulty is trying to find that balance. But the easy thing is set clear laws and then expect the platforms to enforce them, right? Not overbearing laws like your stupid laws Australia trying to say to, get Twitter to delete stuff that's on servers that's not even in the country, but laws that protect children. And Twitter, Elon, has done more to remove child exploitative content on Twitter than the E-Safety Commission has ever friggin' done.
Versus the old regime at Twitter, where there was a victim of that stuff who asked for them to take it down, and Twitter's like, nope, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. But, you say the wrong word.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The old Twitter was just hypocrisy central.
Different forms, in some cases, a misogynistic, violent approach towards women.
So that's him referring to Andrew Tate.
Yeah. However, they're saying that so there's been this massive push recently about violence against women. Now, Australia's always been anti-violence against women. Like, can't think of a correct thinking country in the world that is pro. But I think the stabbing at the of the Christian leader and the violence against women, there might be
a connection of where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Maybe.
As well as the hundreds of thousands of people they're bringing in every couple of months.
But see, this is the thing. This is the smoke screen, right? He's actually not referring to actual violence against women, okay? Or what we would all acknowledge as true misogyny, right? Misogyny, according to the left, and he is on the left extreme, right? Are things saying like men are stronger than women. That's misogyny.
Yep.
Needs to be taken down. Violence, right? What has the left said about words, Oz?
Words are violence.
Words are violence.
Yep.
And so anything that anyone deems offensive, misgendering someone, violent content need to be taken down. That's the definition that people like him on the left use. And so don't be fooled when he says, we need to protect you from violent and misogynistic content, because any normal person is like, well, I don't want to see violence against children or true misogyny. That's bad, right? And then they think, well, to be a good person, I'll support it. And then there's bait and switches like, no, the real violence and misogyny are left-leaning extremist interpretations to censor people's speech and shut them down.
Yeah.
right? Words of violence. You misgendered someone, violent, taken down. Misogyny, bad. Saying the gender pay gap doesn't exist. Misogyny, taken down.
Yeah, but
right?
you're catching on something there, right? Like we think in terms of association with symbols and ideas. And so if they can associate these things, they can get the dim-witted people who...
Exactly.
Like, they just, like, oh, that's the bad thing.
Exactly. That's what the left does. And the Prime Minister here is just doing textbook manipulation.
Yeah.
But in other cases, as we've seen recently as well with the comments of the E-Safety Commissioner, we need to be very conscious about what is online and about the impact that it is having.
Yeah, because you don't want the truth to get out if there's a pandemic on.
Yeah.
That could have an impact about information getting out.
Yeah, and if there's more documented cases of violence from a particular group of people or a particular, what's the word I'm looking for? Demographic of people, whether it's men or anything like that, that might bring up some political questions.
It might.
We can't have that.
They don't want people to question things.
Like, look at Britain. If you start asking questions about certain violent or acts there, you get in serious trouble.
Yep. But that's where Australia wants to go. It's insane.
Now, that is something that is a role for government.
It's government's job, daddy government, to regulate the information people have. Let's just go back a bit and listen to that.
Is online and about the impact that it is having. Now, that is something that is a role for government.
It is the role of government to regulate the impact of information online.
No, the role of government is to protect liberty and
freedoms. Just protect people's actual rights. But he's trying to say it's the role of government to regulate the information they receive online. That's him literally saying the role of government are to be the arbiters of truth. If you... Tyranny. Right there. Okay? Him saying just... And it's structured in a way that this is just common sense. You know? We need to protect people from violent, misogynistic content. It's the role of government to do this.
And you know who they put in charge? Did you see the Pauline Hanson cartoon?
No.
It's very funny. They put in charge a woman literally named Karen, who's got very deep ties to the World Economic Forum.
I've heard that, yeah.
I'm sure that they all would.
But it's also a role for public discourse, I think. We need to have...
But
the public discourse you filter.
Exactly. The public discourse, they shut down so many Facebook posts taken down about, you know, vaccine effectiveness and things like that.
Ah, yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Have a real discussion about the impact. And I know when I talk with parents...
So, yeah, we're going to have a real discussion about the impact, but I'm only going to be mentioning anything that supports my case. And then it's going to be like, I've been talking to parents and they've been horrified. You know, listen to this, right? And then, as a result, the government is going to act as the parents.
They're very concerned about what their young sons and daughters are getting access to.
If parents are concerned what their sons and daughters are getting access to, let the parents control it. Take the friggin' tablets and phones off the kids. That's the parents' jobs, not the government.
Yep.
Right? But it's trying to say parents have no autonomy in this. They're just like, oh, it's so concerning what my kids run into online. Then do your friggin' job as a parent. But then the government's like, well, we'll be the parent for you. We'll be the parent of your kids because you lack the just common sense to do it yourself. We will regulate what will be online as a result.
I hate this.
I can't stand it.
About the impact that it has, including just making things which should never be normal seem normal.
Yeah, but to you people, normal is
traditional marriage or something like that. Like,
oh, well, I mean that's normal to normal people,
Yeah.
but to people like him, ideologue puppets, who represent neoliberalism, they're all about no, misgendering is violence. You know, men and women are functionally the same thing.
Like they, what is saying that he does not want the fact that people believe there are only two genders to be normalized. That can't be normalized, right?
What's normal to the insane, to the abnormal? Like bloody hell.
The use of algorithms that can push that sort of material towards people as well.
Material that they deem inappropriate. Like they don't want, you know, like again, the pandemic is the biggest thing that has exposed the government about this, right? You know, the algorithms might push information to people that we don't want them to receive. And it's trying to frame it like it pushes bad content because you lack the autonomy to judge for yourself if it's correct or not. That's what they're saying.
Is of great concern. It's something I know that Michelle is concerned about. It's something that I spoke about.
The manipulative language. They're probably his wife. He's trying to say parents are... this is just for parents. And I hate it because, again, he's trying to pretend that we're on parents' side. Look at the parents that are, you know, so upset that their kids are getting exposed to stuff. He's saying that, while literally in the exact same discourse is describing that he's going to take away parents' control. They get a parent for the parents. Yeah, they're on parents' side by parenting for them.
What did the left say all these years? We're coming for your children.
All right.
In December 2019, in my second vision statement that I did as leader of the Labor Party, I spoke about the role that social media, the role that this was having in society, and certainly it's a debate that we have to have.
No, he wants to shut down debate. He's not going to let people actually call him out. And again, because people have tried to call him out, and he has just avoided. Like he says, let's have a debate, right? Okay. Did you see recently? Well, you might not have. Something happened recently where he attended like a women's rights march. Okay, and there was confusion as to if he as the Prime Minister would speak or not. He was invited to, right? But anyway, he basically Armstrongs his way into then speak at the rally, and the organizer of the rally, still an unhinged feminist, you know, crazy person, but you see how like emotionally, you know, unstable she is, right? Because he then starts saying, I wasn't invited to speak at this thing, and he was though. And the organizer next to him says, that's a lie. That's a lie. And then he keeps on speaking about, you know, we have to, you know, fight against misogyny and everything. And she starts crying, bawling, breaking down, right?
Because from her perspective, he's just jumped up and mansplained.
Mansplained. And the thing that people be showing is like definition of misogyny. And exactly what he did, right? Or according to the left, right? That he just mansplained, took away a woman's voice, shut her down and not let her speak and lie about her actions and stuff like that, right? It was a big cell phone and everything, but then he got interviewed about it, right? Let's have a discussion, and his version of discussion was to gaslight and avoid. They asked, like, reporters, they asked him flat. He's like, were you invited to speak? And his response was, I don't want to talk about the complexity. What we need to talk about is how bad misogyny is. There's something I think like it's the most slimy political answer. Yet this is the man who has the gall to say we need to have a debate and discussion when he will actively do the political sidestep scummy bullcrap to not actually address scummy, crappy behavior that he is guilty of. He doesn't want to have those debates.
These people aren't... They're just empty suits. They're the worst people on earth. You know, there's always been politicians are the worst things on earth. Like kings can be good or bad, but politicians are almost always awful.
Like when I see politicians like this, I see a person who has no principles, no true moral. They will feign moral principles and guidance. That's how they get people's support. But in reality, it's all about ensuring power, and they will lie through their teeth, manipulate to the extreme, gaslight people just to ensure their next election and their policies. And their policies, especially from him, usually are to ensure more power. And when I see that, I see someone who has no principles.
I reckon they'll go a whole lot further than just lie. No. I reckon if they can get away with, they'll get away. They'll do anything that they can get away with. That's yep. They'll go as far as they need to.
So that's a current state of what's happening here. There has been good pushback. Not enough. There is a protest happening in Australia. It's on Sunday. And I'm like this close to going.
Dude, I'll go with you.
I was going to ask you if you wanted to go. It's just my friggin' health, man. I can barely stand these days because of chronic fatigue. But I'm like this close because it's a joint protest. It's happening in Sydney. It's happening in Brisbane. And one is happening in Melbourne. Okay.
This Sunday? I might actually go to that.
I'm this close because this is something that I feel so passionate about, right? That this is the type of thing that would get me out there and protesting, even in spite of my health.
Just jump on the train. We'll go down on the train. Easy peasy.
I'm tempted, man. I'm tempted. All right, but this is so important. Like, there is a battle for free speech happening in Australia. I don't know if we'll win.
We're not going to sit in silence. We're not going to live in fear.
John Farnham is an Aussie singer. Not many people will know that reference.
Did he become a politician too?
I don't know.
Pretty sure he did. Like,
It's a good song, though. Not gonna sit in silence. Not gonna live in fear. Sorry.
Yeah.
Good song.
And we didn't start the fire either.
So, oh boy. But look, what I am doing, raising our voice here, spreading awareness. There's a battle going on. I hope we can push back. I hope we can prevent it. If not, it's going the same way that we've seen other places in the world. We won't go silently, though, that's for sure. And we'll keep an eye on it, because that's what we do. Stay on watch.